My name is Rich.
And my name is Paul.
And this is a comic strip AP of Don't Rest Your Head, featuring the sleepless nights of Alan Turner. When we last saw Alan, he woke up in his apartment after a huge subway train crash in what seemed like the waking world. He decided that perhaps not everything that just happened to him was a dream, and he certainly didn't feel rested. Taking a leap of faith, he sang the theme to The Greatest American Hero and floated into the air, thereby proving to himself that that really did happen. So we pick up with Alan on the move. We're back in the Buy More car, heading along in the Mini Cooper. Have you decided to go into work, or were you headed straight away to the old rubber tire factory?
Since Honey is still gone, I am trying to get back to where I think I might be able to find her. So, not going to work.
Okay.
They may fire me, but you know what? I'm pretty sure I can find a job almost as good.
You have a few text messages from the manager, Mr. Goins, but you're ignoring all of those texts. Pull up to the parking area outside of the rusted chain link fence that surrounds the old rubber tire factory. A few minutes later, we pick up with you coming to that furnace with the huge door. Now, when you reach onto the door and grab the handle, again, it was rusted shut before. You would think that it would be a little bit easier to open this time around, but it seems as if perhaps the door is stuck again. So I'd like to see if you're willing to put forth a little pain here.
I'll risk it. It does beg the question, who closed the door?
Indeed, it does beg that question. Curious.
Also, who brought the car back to my apartment? There are all sorts of questions that I'm choosing not to examine thoroughly right at this moment. I think I've gotten conditioned to ignore some things over the last bit of my existence. So yes, I will make an attempt.
You are rolling against a pain of 3.
I've got 3 discipline. I've got 3 exhaustion already locked in. Again, the weirdest, almost appropriate songs come into my head. It's like whatever this madness talent is, it's also twisting me a little bit.
Yes?
Which makes perfect sense. I'm going to throw in 2 madness, so I'll be rolling a total of 8 dice. And as I tug on the handle of this rusted furnace door, I start singing, "Gonna ease on down the road. Gonna ease on down the road." And here comes my roll. I have 4 successes.
4 successes, and it appears that exhaustion dominates the roll. Yeah, so when exhaustion dominates the roll, you have enough successes so you do open the door and break that portal to the Mad City. Exhaustion dominates, so your resources are taxed. You increase your exhaustion by 1. That means that your exhaustion is now a 4, which is very dangerous. If you ever increase your exhaustion above 6, you crash.
Yeah. What can I do with a coin of hope? I have 2 of those.
You do. A coin of hope can be used to restore yourself. So you can spend a coin of hope to remove 1 exhaustion, remove a check mark from fight or flight, and don't forget you have 2 checks on fight and only 1 check remaining on flight.
So I'm actually going to bring exhaustion back to 3 and spend 1 of those coins of hope.
I think that's a good choice. You step across into the fine vintner of Lock, Stock, and Barrel, and it looks very similar to the way it did before, except that instead of Ms. Barrel being behind the counter, you see there is a very tall, thin man with a aquiline nose. He's wearing a plaid vest and a dark pair of slacks. His hair is pulled back into a ponytail which shows his widow's peak. He has a pair of spectacles that are balanced precariously at the edge of his nose. In fact, It's odd, as if he probably shouldn't be able to see, unless he uses them only to read and hold at a particular angle.
Are you Locke or Stock?
I'm Mr. Stock. And who are you?
Alan Turner.
Alan Turner. Beryl mentioned you.
Yes.
Are you back to sell more of your memories?
Just passing through at the moment. I still have 2 of the wax coins.
You do have
I think I've only
wax
spent
coins.
1. Okay.
You have.
So, I'm not going to sell any more memories. So I look at him and I say, not at the moment. I'm just passing through on my way back into the city proper.
Oh, very well. You should be advised, and I'll give you this for free. Officer Talk has issued a warrant for your arrest. Be careful if I were you.
I'm assuming Officer Talk is quite diligent in pursuing warrants?
Yes, the coppers who came here before and accosted you, they had a very firm description of you.
Well, thank you for the warning.
You're welcome. Have a good evening.
And you too. So it seems unwise for me to be flitting around in public, but I don't know this place well enough to flit around in private.
Indeed. What do you wish to do?
I have to say, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm assuming that the subway is not running after the derailment earlier.
That is a very fine assumption.
And I still don't really know where I'm going. I no longer have a guide. So I guess the first thing I need to do is find someone that can get me to the Howler, or at least where he hangs out.
All right. Well, you could step out onto the cobblestone street, and you are in District 13. You could look around, ask some people for directions. There was a mention of the Bizarre Bazaar, if I remember correctly. Also, you could head up to the roofs. I'm sure you could chat with your friends, the roof rats.
Yeah, they're likely to be very helpful to me. I think I will step out onto the street, and inadvisable as it may seem, I'm going to start walking towards that big clock tower, and it seems like a central point, so I'll start walking, trying to keep to shadows and listening for the tick-tick-tick of automated policemen.
You make your way towards the large clock tower, and as you do, you see that the hands are moving and settling upon the number 13. It becomes 13 o'clock, and the tower starts to ring, and the bell gongs, and you count. By the time you are under, if it were not nighttime, what would be the shadow of the clock tower, it has struck 13, and you see just to the left of the clock tower in the large city hall building that sits at the end of the street, there is a large lot. Not a parking lot, it seems to be, because there are small tents, and there's also a larger pavilion and some structures that are built here, like temporary shacks that have rounded up, and there are a number of people here. It's a bit of a buzz. It appears that a little bit of a flea market has sprung up here. There are a number of smells, from pastries to fried foods, and even the smell of fresh fruit. And there's a hum of low conversation. There are dozens of people here, vendors and other folks who are partaking in looking at the goods that are for sale. And again, like when you boarded the subway train before, not everyone looks entirely human. It is quite a menagerie of folks. Some of them abstracted versions of humans. Some are hybrids, almost anthropomorphic. None of them seem to take a great deal of notice to your arrival, which of course could be good. What are you looking for?
I suppose a travel agency is out of the question, so I'm looking for some place that looks like it sells walking sticks or the kind of accoutrement that would imply taking a journey. Because while I imagine most of these people never actually complete one, that urge to start one must still be around somewhere. So I'm looking for, the equivalent of LL Bean or something like that.
As you move between the stalls, past jet black obsidian melons, as well as this candle wax that seems to drip upwards, you pick up the scent of leather and find a very small stall where there is a girl who is selling what appears to be backpacks as well as messenger bags and the like, and they are from a variety of different styles. Some of them look to be handmade, others appear to have the sigils of things that you would recognize from home. There's even a JanSport backpack among them.
Pink flowers?
Yes, absolutely pink flowers. And the young girl looks up at you as you come closer. She says, may I help you? Are you going on a journey?
Well, I'm hoping very much to travel to the domain of the Magnificent Howler. I'm supposed to be there for a battle of the bands, and I don't believe the subway is operational at the moment.
Oh, right you are. You want to go to the nowheres beyond the kingdom of wax. That's quite a travail. Yes, I have just the thing. You will need a map.
I would much cherish a map.
Very well. She digs into a small box, and you can see here the rustling of papers, and then she pulls out a actual map, and it's made with that kind of paper that's almost like cloth, right? It's very heavy duty. And she says, this map, it is never wrong, but often you do not wish for it to be right.
That is by far not the strangest thing I've heard in the last few days. How much will it take to purchase this map?
1 coin for one such as you.
I fish out my second to last coin and hand it to her in exchange for the map.
She reaches up into her hair and she pulls a ribbon that was holding just a little bit of her hair. She didn't have pigtails, but she had just a few different tails. And she pulls that ribbon and then she carefully rolls up the map, takes that ribbon, which is a nice pink ribbon, and she ties a little bow, and then she hands it to you and reaches out for the coin that you hand to her.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your help.
Good travels.
I think that's probably unlikely, but thank you for the wish.
And as you complete the transaction, looking about, you see that there are a couple of the coppers who have just walked out of the main building, that city hall, as it were, and start heading towards the Bizarre Bazaar. What do you do?
Trying to be inconspicuous. As I walk away, I start to hum, I'm a real nowhere man, living in a nowhere land.
There are 4 of them, so this is 4 pain to escape their notice.
I shall roll much as I did last time.
I think you should.
So that'll be 3, 3, and 2.
All right.
Oh, did you roll the pain already?
I did roll the pain already. I rolled with 1 friggin' success.
I have 3.
Yeah, you have 3.
And exhaustion dominates again.
Wow, does it with 2 6s. Boy, oh boy. So that exhaustion that you bought down, you get right back again, Sarah. But you avoid pain, which is great. How does it cause you to be exhausted sneaking away from these 4 coppers?
I've been walking and jumping and running. I've been knocked around on a train that got derailed. Those aches and that weariness and just the sheer overwhelming force of being exhausted, not having slept in so long. None of that has scared me as much as the fact that my throat is starting to feel scratchy.
Oh, I see. We will end this session with you following the map, kind of looking over your shoulder as you're navigating your way out of District 13. And you look out over a moonlit bay and a dock and a boat with a single sail. We'll call it there.
Good.
Hi, this is Jason from The Gauntlet. If you enjoyed this episode of Comic Strip AP, be sure to check out our YouTube channel. We have many other Comic Strip AP shows available, each organized in their own sequential playlist for easy listening. Just go to youtube.com and search for Gauntlet RPG.